Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Nales and I'm a marketing strategist, and I'm here to bring you guys a couple stories, tips, strategies for creators who are looking to pursue a post 9-to-5 lifestyle. That means if you're an audio producer, you're an audio engineer, a regular producer, not an audio producer, but you do videos, photography, singer, songwriter, small-time business owner, I can think of a bunch. Basically, the whole name of the game is to keep creating and to keep pursuing that post 9-to-5 lifestyle, regardless of whatever obstacles come your way. So when I'm talking to a lot of people, the first thing that comes up in conversation is that they don't feel like they have a big enough budget to create whatever it is that they want to create. So I'm gonna give you guys 3 ways that you guys can still brand yourself and you can still keep moving towards that post 9-to-5 lifestyle without having a budget, and hopefully getting to creating a budget in order to invest in yourself and to do so. First, before I get into the first one, make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure that you comment on my videos so that you can be aware of when other videos come out. Hopefully I'm going to try to do this like maybe once a week. So let's get into it. Let's start. Number 1, first thing that you can do is you can learn a new skill. All right, there's a bunch of platforms out there that are taking advantage of, well, not advantage, because I think that's kind of grim, but they're taking advantage of everyone that's home right now. I mean, if you're at home, there's a bunch of platforms out there that will teach you new skills that will be helpful for you so that you can create value to your customers or your listeners or your audience or whatever it is that you're trying to get into business-wise. So LinkedIn Learning is the first one that I use. LinkedIn Learning is very, very good because it offers a bunch of classes from industry professionals and thought leaders, but they cover everything from business to creative to even, management and leadership. So it can help you in your normal 9-to-5, or it can help you in your 5-to-9 hustle that you have. And it can help you push you towards your post 9-to-5 lifestyle as well. It's a free trial for 7 days. I tried it for free for the 7 days and I was actually hooked. I ended up paying $30 a month, which is probably a little bit steep for a subscription price. But if I think of all the times that I eat out, it's probably worth it, and I can, cook more inside if it's going to help me learn a new skill that I could, inevitably just make more money off of and then cook and order out more after that. Basically, that's my thinking. But yeah, if you guys can't pay that $30 a month, which is understandable because the whole purpose of this video is that you don't have a budget to create, the next best thing that you guys can do is pivot and go towards YouTube, which is probably a, no-brainer since you're watching me on YouTube right now. But what you can do is you can go and learn about any skill that you think you need in order to become more valuable to your customer. Another thing that you guys can do is read a book. Now, I know that you have a book probably under your bed, in your closet, on your desk, or in your desk, or even in your book bag that's collecting dust that you probably bought a long time ago. Now's the time to do so. When's a good time to read a book? Probably when you feel like you need to go on social media, right? So like early in the morning when you wake up, or before you go to bed is probably the best time to read a book. Or if you feel like you're inclined to watch the news, it's probably not the best thing to do right now. You can catch the news later. If it doesn't have anything to do with you, particularly right now, probably skip it for just like a later time that you can watch the news. We want to avoid, creating panic. We want to avoid creating stress. We want to avoid creating anxiety. So take that book, jot down a few ideas in a notebook, which is what I do. Anything that I read in a book, I try to just take the notes and see how whatever I'm learning pertains to me, and using that moving forward so that if I learn whatever skill I'm learning, I can go to my notebook, I can look at all the notes and know how I'm going to put that plan into action right at that moment. The last thing that you guys can do is just practice, practice, practice. So whatever skills you're learning, make sure that you're putting them to use. If you're learning anything video creative related, make sure that you're actually editing. Make sure you're incorporating it into your content. If you're learning how to mix anything, make sure you try these new VSTs that you download. If you're learning new marketing techniques, make sure that you run a test ad on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or Google, and make sure that it works. And get some feedback from your friends. If you're shy, you can always send it to me. I won't share it with anybody, and I'll give you guys some feedback and some critique on it as well. But the most important thing is that you're actually actively practicing what you're learning and putting it into use because you want to build value, and this is the best way to do so. All right, so you're learning, you got LinkedIn Learning, you got YouTube, you're reading your books, you're learning all these new skills. That's amazing, but make sure you're not a skill hoarder. Make sure you're actually putting these skills to use, right? All of the notes that you're taking, all the books that you're reading, all the classes that you're taking, they have to be put to use in order for you to increase your brand value, the value that you give to your consumer, to your customer, to your audience, whoever, right? So practice, practice, practice. If you're not practicing, you won't get better. Trust me. The best thing that you can do is share it with your friends first if you're a little bit shy. And if you feel like you're experimenting with a new style, see what your friends say. See what kind of feedback they give you. If you're even too shy to give that content to them, pass it to me. You know where to find me at Brandon Nales, brandonnales@gmail.com, brandonnales.com. I will give you guys feedback. I will let you guys know what I think. I will give you guys some strategies on ways that you can even, improve it and go a step further. Because right now we need some encouragement, and we need some positive encouragement, and just a push to keep moving forward, especially when we feel stagnant. Strategy number 2, make sure that you're networking on social media. So when I tell a lot of the clients that I work with to, network on social media, a lot of them think that networking on social media means spamming people with their content, their music, their new product, their new service, and just trying to build their audience one by one. And if you try to build your audience one by one, think about it. If your goal is to have an audience of 50,000, consumers, customers, followers, whatever, all right, it's going to be very time consuming if you try to reach out to them one by one each, right? So when you're networking on social media, make sure that you're trying to find people who are going to inspire you to keep creating and stay up to date with the latest trends that are out there. And your peers are really good to do that with, right? So if you are, again, we're going to use an artist as an example. If you're an artist and you're looking for a new producer, network on social media. Go find a producer. If you're listening to music on Spotify and you look into the song credits and you find out that this person produced a song for them, go find them on Instagram, reach out to them. Hey, I love the song that you did with XYZ artist, and I was hoping that you could send me some, music that you have stashed aside, and we can work or connect or whatever. However you want to network with the people, you use your own terminology for that. If you are a digital marketer, and you feel like, you would really like to work with a website developer, boom. Work with a website developer and say, hey, I had this client, they want to build a website. I'm not really that great at it. I'm learning it right now, but I love what you did with brand X. Maybe you can, design that website for this person, and we can split the profit on it, or I can give you the money for it. I can give you a lead for it, however you want to go about it. Or you can show them a website that you've worked on, that you've been practicing, and maybe they can give you some constructive criticism on ways that you can make it better. Tip number 3. Make sure that you are studying your audience, you're studying your customers, you're studying your listeners. You have to know a couple things. You have to know, where do they live? How old are they? What platforms do they use? Why do they use those platforms? And what makes them brand loyal? When you're looking at your audience, you're looking at those things because you want to put them into groups so that you can understand the ideal customer that you're going after. And when you're marketing in the future, you can go after those demographics through your social media, through your digital marketing, which is something that I can talk about later on a different video, or you can message me on the side if you want to know more about that. But where are you pulling these numbers from? First thing that you should do, if you are on Instagram and your Instagram account is not a business account, you're making a big mistake. So the first thing you can do is convert that Instagram account to a business account for free. And in a week's time, I believe so, it will give you a lot of different information on your audience that you have. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys my Instagram account. Perfect. Okay, so what do we have right here? Last week I got 75 followers, which is pretty decent considering, I'm not really doing anything. A lot of my audience is in New York City. Makes sense because I do a lot of work with the Digitalog, so I am in New York a lot. Number 2 is Philadelphia, which makes sense because I live in the Philadelphia metropolitan area. Number 3 is Los Angeles because I do a lot of work in Los Angeles as well, and I used to live there. Number 4 is Camden, New Jersey, where 45% of my family probably lives. And last is London, which is super receptive to all the content that I've been putting out. So I've been connecting with a lot of people overseas. Age range. 51% of my audience is 25 to 34, right? So I want to make sure that the content that I'm putting out is specific to the needs of a 25 to 34 year old. 31% is for 18 to 24 year olds, right? So I need to make sure that I'm making separate content for them because their needs are probably different. And then when it comes to the gender breakdown, 62% men, 38% women. When I'm making my content, it's probably, going to be viewed by a man more often than it is by a woman. So I need to segment the content that I'm making and make sure that I'm satisfying both of them. But, making sure that there's a ratio to the way that I'm putting that content out. And when I'm releasing things on Instagram, I need to make sure that I'm paying attention to the time of day. So I'm shooting this on a Monday. And if I'm going to post this video on my Instagram account, then it looks like 3 p.m. would probably be the best time for me to do so, right? So when you are creating your buyer persona is what we call it, but just basically like the generalization of the different types of audience that you have, or listeners or followers or consumers or whatever you want to call them, make sure that you're pulling this from your Instagram account. You can also do so from Google Analytics. You can also do so from Facebook. You can also do so from YouTube. You can also do so from your Spotify. You can also do so from your Apple Music. You can also do so from Anchor if you're a podcaster like I am myself. You can also do it from your own website if you use Squarespace, if you use Wix, if you use Bandzoogle. There are a ton of ways for you to pull your analytics, and you need to pull as many as possible to know where your audience is, what they want, how they're engaging with your content, when are they cutting the video off on YouTube, what videos are they coming from. I mean, there's just a ton of knowledge that you can pull from there. So you're pulling together all of this information. You're studying what cities are your audience in, how old are they, what do they like, what brands do they like, where are they discovering your content from, yada yada, XYZ, whatever. Okay, cool. Make sure that when you get all that information, you build at least 2 to 4 buyer personas, because you don't want to just throw all of your content at a general crowd. You want to make sure that it's specific and it targets the needs and the pain points of your consumers, whether they are a 25-year-old that lives in Brooklyn or they are a 34-year-old that lives in Springfield, Illinois. So there you have it. Those are my 3 strategies for you guys to stay productive throughout the quarantine and moving forward. Also, I created a financial sheet for you guys to download. The link is in the bio. Make sure you download that to hold yourself accountable and properly plan out your finances so that you can invest in your brand and add more value to your customers. So that's it for my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page so that you can stay up to date with all of my latest tips and strategies and stories. And make sure you head to BrandonNales.com. Make sure you listen to my new podcast, The Cultural Connect, that's coming out pretty soon. Also, feel free to reach out to me. I love listening to ideas, tips, strategies. Bounce your ideas off of me. Ask me questions. Tell me things I don't know about. So keep doing that. I'm at Brandon Nales. I like when people bounce ideas off of me, so don't be afraid to reach out. Make sure you stay safe, wash your hands, and follow social distancing. I'll see you guys next time.